mute first. Hello, welcome to AWS Made Easy. Ask us anything. reInvent 2022 wrap up. It's basically it's done. We've made it to the end of reInvent.
I can't believe it. I think the last 4 days have kind of come and gone so fast, and it still feels like it's been forever, yet wrapped up so quickly. There's been so much happening and so exciting. I think all of us are kind of running on fumes when it comes to energy. And I think yesterday, Jeff Barr was telling me the site at the airports, and I think I was recollecting that the site at the airport when everyone is leaving on Friday is literally everyone dozing on all the benches that are available at the airport. And I'm probably going to take a picture of that tomorrow as I head to the airport. But what a show that's been. It's been an amazing and incredible week over here so far. So can't wait to quickly recap what's happened.
I feel like my queue of things to do has gone down, but my queue of things to think about has skyrocketed.
So I mean, that's what reInvent is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. So, well, I guess the first thing was the keynote, today's keynote. That I think what was really neat about Werner Vogel's keynote is there's a lot of individual releases, but then it also gives you this chance to think about the bigger picture.
Correct. And I think I've always talked about AWS being needing to be opinionated. And I think of all the keynotes that I heard this time, I think Werner kind of nailed it completely. And here is my takeaway of all the keynotes and all of reInvent. And we're probably going to bring up something that Werner said during that process. So
should we put that on the screen?
Yeah. Let's do this. So my takeaway number one from day one was that we are in this era of economic uncertainty. Okay. And I think Werner's summary of all of that was really simple: evolve or die. Okay. So I think as people think about what they should do with their investments, I think Werner nailed it when he put up this slide that says evolve or die. And I think both Swami and Adam kind of soft pedaled around that whole opinion, but Werner was absolutely dead clear. So kudos to him. I love this slide absolutely, and I completely agree with it. Evolution. I mean, you have to evolve, you have to innovate, you have to kind of work yourself or work through this period of unpredictability. The second thing I think was nailed by Adam in his first keynote, where he said, if there's a place to innovate, it is the cloud. You cannot innovate in your on-premise systems or anywhere else. So innovation is going to happen in the cloud. And I think everyone is pretty much sold on that particular concept.
Yeah, it's amazing all the conversations about people who, there are still a lot of on-prem installations out there, but the end is near. We're just like evolve or die, right? This has got to be, let's see,
one of those
the writing on the wall of an extinct species.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clear. This is where
it's the writing on the wall. I completely agree. The third part of it actually came from Swami's keynote, and the takeaway from that is that data is really going to drive all the innovation. I mean, the amount of data that organizations have that are unleveraged at this point of a time is going to be key to driving a lot of the innovation. It is really hard to transform old existing applications and stuff like that, but data is one of those things where if you can take the data from your existing systems, move them to the cloud, do something innovative and exciting with it, it will help you innovate very quickly and stay ahead of the curve. So I think data, driving a lot of this innovation is the next big takeaway that
and then you can see a lot of the announcements today about that, with bringing third-party data sets into lake formation, into S3, being able to join data sets from existing sources. That's as a former data scientist, that's really exciting things to be able to do. Like I said, the data has value, and it's just being able to join it with other data, being able to mine it. And now Amazon's giving you all the tools beginning to end to do this.
Exactly. But to do that effectively, you need governance and a really good set of standards and best practices. And unfortunately, there had been gaps in this. And I think if I were to summarize what AWS did over the last year, it is to try and close a lot of those gaps and make sure that there is really solid governance in place so that companies feel very secure taking all of their data, putting it in AWS, and then executing all of these innovation projects. So I think AWS has set up customers in a really nice manner with all of these new announcements around governance, around making sure that customers can do this very efficiently as well. So I think that was my next big takeaway, which is the gaps in governance and security and efficiency have basically been addressed.
And I like that they did it with an eye towards how people actually use data, how people actually work.
Yeah.
But then looking at the way they've added functionality to SageMaker notebooks, being able to move around machine learning models, right? So, and a lot of the talks mentioned preventing shadow IT, right? That's a big problem, right? Because if you can have governance written down as a set of rules, but what's the point if they're so strict that you end up just putting sensitive data on a USB stick and moving it where you want to go because your organization is too brittle? And
I think most organizations kind of tend to swing one way or the other on this pendulum, where one end is where you have governance rules that are so strict that you either impede innovation, or your developers go rogue, or the other one is that they are so lax that your organization is basically, it's susceptible to all kinds of,
data lasts forever, right? Eventually that will blow up. So
exactly.
Being able to have these policies and these technology in place where you can makes following governance the best path, making the path of least resistance the path that you want to take. So they've really, I think, nailed it on that one.
Completely agree. And then the last one is from Vernon's talk today, where he talked about event-driven architecture is really the way to do it. And the way I see it, the way he described it was actually really, really neat. He's basically saying that if you want to innovate, the event-driven architecture is your foundation. If you don't have event-driven architecture, it's very hard to do any of the other evolution or experimentation and stuff like that. Like if you build a monolith to an end state in mind, you literally don't know in this unpredictable times what you need in 3 months down the line, or 4 months down the line, or 6. So it's really important to make sure that you're building around an architecture that allows you to evolve rapidly and quickly, and you can build to what your customers require, or build to the needs of your scenario. So event-driven architecture is kind of the foundation, but at the same time, he also gave us a vision for what is to come. He was talking about all the stuff around 3D and stuff like that. And of course, just a short while ago, he published the tech predictions for 2023 on his post. We will put that up
screen
as well.
Here it comes. There you go.
But I think that was really, really well balanced to make sure that customers understand that there's a clear guidance about what your architecture should be. Okay, so very opinionated in that, and kind of showing you how limitless it can be if you actually follow that basic architecture. It opens a lot of doors for you. It opens a lot of scope for innovation. And so this should be the guidance that I think customers out of reInvent should take away.
And it's amazing that along with this guidance, there's all the building blocks that you could need, and thinking about things like event bridge pipes, right? We have more and more building blocks to actually realize this event-driven dream, right? Zooming all the way back to when SQS came out. So, oh, this is cool.
Correct.
But you still need to have an EC2 instance that's polling it. And now going all the way here, you can tie all these things together to make these incredible programs that are serverless, that are stateless, that can accomplish huge amounts without worrying about scaling, without worrying about static infrastructure. It's a really neat time to be developing things.
Couldn't agree more. So very, very, we are going away out of reInvent extremely excited. And there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to architect around. And I'm sure we're going to see tons of new innovation coming out from this AWS ecosystem. So yeah, I'm feeling really kicked about it. This has been an incredible week.
Oh, yeah, I think intellectually it's been a blast, and then socially, meeting people, catching up with friends. It's amazing when you meet someone for the first time. Wow, it's just so that mental model in your head changes. You get so much extra details about who they are. So that's been a blast.
Absolutely. So I absolutely have to recap the last few days, both from the CloudFix standpoint as well as just reInvent itself.
And listen to that happiness. That's fantastic.
So I'm going to start by saying, we've had such an incredible team over here, at the CloudFix booth and within the CloudFix, setup. They have gone all out. The customers have been incredible, coming in and looking at CloudFix. But most importantly, we've had so much fun meeting people in person. There have been so many amazing sessions. There have been so many amazing conversations, and some amazing parties as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we've had an absolute blast. If you can make it next year, please do. I think there's so much learning to happen, in person. This experience of these 4 days is really hard to replicate in any remote scenario. In general, I'm a big proponent of remote, but once in a while, you actually need this connect between the people. And an event like this is really awesome.
Well, and having remote most of the time, so that when you meet, you can go all out and have a great time together.
I think it makes those connections a lot stronger. It makes those connections a lot more awesome.
It's been really fun from the content creation perspective. But all of our friends and colleagues, many of the guests that we've had on the show, they're also creating content.
Exactly.
So I want to come back and watch reInvent through their eyes, through Darko's eyes, through Brooke Jameson's eyes, through all the different people.
Yeah, and John Meyer, and we've got the AWS Insiders stuff. You've got a lot of guests over there. Yeah, there's been so much happening. I completely agree. I think we have enough stuff to go do out of reInvent for the next 2 months at the very least.
Yep, this is the reInvent post-processing time.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us through these 4 days. We will be back next week in our usual remote scenario, but looking forward to it. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute blast. Look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Is your AWS public cloud bill growing? While most solutions focus on visibility, CloudFix saves you 10 to 20% on your AWS bill by finding and implementing AWS recommended fixes that are 100% safe. There's zero downtime and zero degradation in performance. We've helped organizations save millions of dollars across tens of thousands of AWS instances. Interested in seeing how much money you can save? Visit cloudfix.com to schedule a free assessment and see your yearly savings.